it's pretty typical for it to drop a lot during the summer months. So I've got a letter out that's gone out to about 11 fuel oil dealers right now, and giving them guidance of what we're looking to lock in at. Which, to be honest with you, I've asked for $2.90. I'm not sure I'm going to get it, but I'm going for it. So, kind of put the ball in motion, but I don't see locking in until June, July anyways. And it should be hopefully in that $3 range or less.
Okay.
I think if we get an indication we can lock in at around $3 between now and then, we'd probably bring that recommendation to you real quick and grab it. Because that's where we're budgeted at. And the safety we have there, remember, is we have not built in the projected savings from the new boiler, which is estimated at $47,000. And that was a conservative estimate. So you do have some room if you have to lock in at $320, $330, but that's when the bleaches story comes in too, if you remember.
David?
Actually, I hate this, but he ends with the point I was going to question.
then you don't have to ask it.
Well, no, he just mentions the subject, which then makes me have to ask the question.
For him. Yeah.
First, on the heating oil thing, I don't know. I just think we have to think about this. I agree with Ken's suggestion. If we get anywhere near 3, I'd almost, although I'm not suggesting we do it, I'd almost like to get pre-approval for 3. I mean, we have a war in Libya, we have all kinds of stuff going on. That is going to wildly fluctuate, probably hourly. So we get anywhere near 3, I'd almost like to give them a chance to jump on it and not wait for us to all get together in a meeting. I don't know nobody knows what it's going to, it historically goes down in the summer. Well, we may have degraded Libya to the point where they're 15% in the oil market is causing all the skyrocket. I think this is a very dangerous situation. I'm glad to see we have a little bit of play in it, but I think on the oil issue, since it is a fairly major ticket item that we ought to consider, I don't know whether we do it now, but I'd ask the chairperson, to consider us approving anything within a certain range so that it's just way too wildly volatile to me. And the world events, I've read an article in the New York Times, the world events are what's driving it, not logic, not monetary supply, not anything except for emotion.
Well, I'm not familiar with what board approval is required for actually locking in.
We just do it. Yeah.
There is no board approval required.
You're at our mercy.
Well, I think in fairness that it would be nice to have a sense of the board that if you get anywhere near $3, we're going to be, and that's what our budget's based on, do it.
We'll do it.
Okay.
I mean, I guess looking at it another way, we can hope for $3, but if we approve it at 3 and it's at the same rate, what would the sources of funding be to offset? You're still gonna, I assume we're still gonna heat the schools, so you're gonna pay whatever the price is. So, budgeting and locking in are two different things. So, do we, say it stays at the current rate? What would other undesignated funds? I mean, just in terms of what funding would we use to pay for a higher than budgeted amount, and is that within the realm of experience? So it's not something we should worry about.
Yeah, if it's higher, we have to lock in at $320, $330. Then we've got to live with the bleaches for another year. So hopefully we'll have both accomplished. And I have a letter that I'll pass out that you can read about the bleaches. And it basically says, they don't meet code, because they're 40 years old, the code has changed, and that there's some structural deficiencies, which Greg has pointed out, but that, no one's going to put a letter that they're fail-safe, but
as it stands right now, you've recommended replacing the bleachers essentially if we can afford it inside of the existing budget, and that has a lot to do with our ability to lock in at $3.
yes, if we can lock in at $3, then you can do the bleachers this year. If it's going to be $330, then you've got about a $50,000 gap in being able to fund the bleachers within this budget. So in that scenario, I would recommend doing the bleachers the next school year.
Okay.
Would we need to wait until summertime to do the bleachers, or could it be done at any time throughout the year?
Yeah, you just got to get it rolling like the boiler, so that it
Yeah, I
comes
mean,
to
if we're gonna do it this summer, I have to start the process now.
We can start the process now, as long as they know it's contingent upon funding. I mean, we can be ready to go, so that if we lock in,
We can do-
we can get the bleachers in. He doesn't need to wait until June, to lock in and say,
Right.
okay, now I got to do the bleachers because it'll be too late. So he'll be getting the bleacher project ready to go pending funding, because he can always pull the plug on it.
I mean, you agree? Yeah. I guess the other thing I have to say is I'm all for asking us to go against your recommendation and just budget for the bleachers, because yes, you're doing your job very well. And thank you for doing that, but I guess it'll probably, I'm sure it'll work your way, I'm sure it'll work, and we could do both this year, but I wouldn't want to wait until, it would make me uncomfortable to wait until next summer to do it, I have to say, so.
Is there other support on the board for moving forward with the bleachers, even if we had to lock in at a higher rate and it meant increasing the budget?
I have a question in that regard, because I'd like to know, right now as the budget stands, how much do we have in it for the bleachers? So, I understand if this fluctuates between $3 and $3.30, it's about a $50,000 difference. How much in this budget is there for repairing the bleachers next fiscal year?
We've got the replacement of the bleachers in this budget, but this budget also is built on the $3 a gallon.
I understand that, but I'm just trying to balance the risks and
About a
benefits.
$50,000. If the oil is $3.20, $3.30, we're about $50,000 off.
I got that part of the scales of justice, but I need the other part, which is how much do we have in the school budget now for bleachers? Excuse me?
Probably 80, if I'm following your line of questioning
Right.
correctly.
And in my recollections, it would take about 120, 130 to completely repair in a year. I mean,
30 for new bleachers,
okay.
ballpark.
So I guess I'd return to my previous question. Is there support, is there other support on the board for repairing the bleachers this year, even in the event that we were unable to lock in at $3 and it meant adding money to the superintendent's budget? I'm not seeing
Right, that's great.
overwhelming enthusiasm for that, so.
Thank you for letting me bring it up, or say it comfortably.
Of course. Other questions?
I mean, just as public, that are looking at me, the letter from our architectural engineering firm, I'm not going to read the whole letter, but it says the bleachers and components are showing their age, but it does not imply a collapse is imminent. And,
Great.
you can live with those bleachers another year if you have to.
Thank you. I didn't read the letter.
David?
I like the word imminent. I thought it was imminent, but that's okay. I like to see somebody else makes typos too. I just, for the public, I want to explain in a simplistic way, which is the way I think, that we're really balancing things here. We have two slightly unknowns. We have money to do it if we can afford to do it. But if we have to use that money for oil, we have that money and we'll do it next year. If everything comes in well, we'll do it this year. But they're two fluctuating numbers that we'll never know the answer to, but we've got enough built in on either way so we can move by passing the budget. The superintendent has the ability to make the call for which we need to do and when we need to do it. And I think that's the best you can do with a budget. Myself.
It's not the only number in the budget that's subject to change. Right.
Some not even close. A lot of these are all estimates, and that's what you put in a budget.
Are there other questions about the bleachers or about energy? No. Are there other issues that members wanted to circle back to? We're getting to the end of my list. You could surprise me. We're going to wrap up a half an hour early.
Oh, I can't allow that to happen. I want to talk
Can
about
you give a
school.
speech?
I want to talk about school dress codes. Kidding.
All right. Well, I think then I think what that would mean is that the board we meet again tomorrow night. We have a finance committee meeting, and then following the finance committee meeting, we will go back into budget workshop. And I think we have a tentative agreement around that reflects the superintendent's recommended budget, and that we will, in that meeting, we will be able to vote. I guess, are we voting on that in that meeting? I guess we vote in our business meeting, but we will.
That's what you usually do. We usually vote in the business
Get a
meeting.
bring it to the council on the 6th, so I don't think you have a meeting up in the big room till the 14th, right?
So we'll have to call the business meeting.
Why can't you do it tomorrow night?
So we'll
Because we're
have
a
to have.
workshop, not business.
We-
We'll just add a business meeting.
Or, to be honest with you, I think what Kathy was about to say, as long as it's a public meeting and it's noticed, you can have the vote in any kind of meeting as long as...
We'll call it a business meeting.
Yeah.
Because we can do that, and that'll take care of anybody's concerns. And
Yeah.
we will address approval of the budget in that meeting.
I would suggest that you might want to, just for clarity, make sure that that notice gets posted, that we are
It will be
voting.
posted. Yeah,
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
We're meeting tomorrow night at 6:30 for the finance committee, right?
correct.
And that's 6:30 to 7:30?
Yes,
And then what were we going to do at 7:30?
a budget workshop.
A budget workshop? Okay, but we don't need one now, or we may.
It will be exactly what we planned. The schedule hasn't changed, but we're going to call it a business meeting so that we can vote on the budget.
So there may be some discussion at 7:30?
Yes, we'll have time for discussion before the vote. If you want to say anything about the budget, you'll have an opportunity to say that before the vote, and then we'll vote.
Okay, thanks.
All right, well,
Just to make sure, the 3-year budget projection is a plan. It's not a budget we will be voting on. It's just
Correct.
directionally, it's a directional guidance on the spending drivers and what we know about revenue at this point. So that's not a budget.
that's correct. Mary?
I just wanted to remind board members that the council is looking at changing the validation vote date.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all right. From May 10th to May 17th, because we'll have to do a special election to replace Senator Larry Bliss, and our 2 surrounding towns are setting their budget validation vote for May 17th. So we will most likely change ours and then lobby the governor to hold a special election that day on the 17th. So both can be held, and it will save the town, I think, $6,500 to be able to do both of those in one election. So,
Thank you.
oh, you're welcome. And the board is fine with that now? No issues around that? Okay.
Do we need a motion to adjourn? May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.